My guest today is Aastha Almast, co-founder of the new shop. Aastha, many thanks for speaking to PTI.
Thank you for having me, Mamita, and I'm very excited to and looking forward to our conversation today.
How big is the new store right now?
So we are over 200 stores, almost about 300 stores, and we should be doubling our store count by end of this financial year.
What is the form and shape that these stores take so far as the new shop is concerned?
So all our stores are omni-channel. And as I mentioned, the locations are either mass transit hubs, which covers airports, railway stations, highways, gas stations, or in very densely populated neighborhoods, or in corporate parks, or in near educational institutions. Having said that, we are omni-channel, but we're offline first. Customers just love the experience of coming to the store. So all our stores are like these, hangout spots for the local communities where people are exploring new products, they're engaging with each other and also engaging with the services that we offer. Like I mentioned, our services are very highly curated to the location. So on a Diwali, you could book a pandit from our store. On a Karwa Chauth or Teej, you could book a Mehendi artist at our store. So all, regional and very hyper-local services along with products are offered at our store, which can only be experienced in an offline-first kind of a pattern, right? Along with that, we are present across about 11-12 channels. So you can shop from us from Zomato, Swiggy, WhatsApp, website, phone call, anything. We want customers to be shopping from us and we want to fulfill all the customer needs. It doesn't really matter which channel are they shopping from us, right? We're just channel agnostic and customer first.
So Aastha, the new shop acquired from Godfrey Phillips India, 24/7 stores. What are the plans for these stores now? Will we see a rebranded version of them in the coming months?
Awesome. So we, like I mentioned, are in a business of empowering entrepreneurship, and it's a highly profitable franchise business model that we are operating. So, needless to say, we're present in across 18 states and about 35 cities. And that's almost like 200 plus entrepreneurs who we have impacted so far. So we have like a very long backlog of entrepreneurs who want our franchise. And, the biggest thing about retail is finding the right location. Right, and when we heard or saw in the news that Godfrey Phillips wanted to, sort of part with its retail business, for us it was like a ready availability of 100 locations, which we could just readily, franchise out to our backlisted, waitlisted franchise owners, and that was like a no-brainer for us. This just sort of automatically adds speed, and we were able to create that impact and that we're looking for much quickly. Versus us looking for 100 more locations or having our potential or getting potential franchise owners to want those locations, right? We just kind of like saved up almost 6 months of that research time by getting these readily available assets. So as far as the deal is concerned, we have acquired all the retail assets of Godfrey Phillips and franchise them out to all amazing entrepreneurs who are doing a very good job in running the store. So we already have about 35 stores that have been rebranded to new shop and already been franchised out, and they're already running.
35 out of?
Out of the total number we'll share when the details and semantics.
When you acquired, there were close to 90 or 100 stores, right?
In public domain, the number is 140. Which included, the brand's large format stores and their kiosks. The final number of what this will close at will be a joint announcement because you'd understand Godfrey Phillips is a publicly trading company and, their information is sensitive. So
35 stores is what you have sort of, launched after the acquisition.
35 have already been rebranded and active
now they
stores.
Operate under the new shop
Absolutely.
logo. Okay, and which are the locations that these stores are operating?
So Delhi NCR, a lot of them in Chandigarh region, and this also helps us expand into the South Indian region. We have about 20-25 plus stores in Hyderabad that are also coming up in the next few weeks. And that just sort of helped us expand the Southeast Asia expansion, South India expansion with Hyderabad, and we just very recently opened in Visakhapatnam as well. So now we're very heavily concentrating on expanding in Telangana.
Okay, and this number or all of these locations that you talked about in South India expansion is primarily the 24/7, erstwhile 24/7 stores.
So the numbers that I mentioned were previous 24/7 stores.
35.
25.
25. Okay.
Yes. Along with that, our new stores are also coming up.
Okay. So
it helps us with the cluster-wise growth, just getting the entire territory going.
What is the game plan for 24/7 stores now that you're the new owner? How do you plan to take it forward in the next 1 to 2 years?
So I think the entire conversion of all the stores would be completed by March end. The strategy is simple. We are a franchise owned and franchise operated first company. That's what we're going to do. We had a backlog of many waitlisted franchise owners who wanted a good location to operate a new shop store in. The stores already had traction and footfall. And hence they're going to be rebranded to new shop and franchised out to franchise
And that
owners.
entire process you're saying will get over by March
In the
of
next,
this year?
yes, 1.5 months.
How are you looking to turn around these stores? Because one of the reasons why the previous owner actually exited them was due to performance and market conditions. As the new owner now of 24/7 stores, what is your turnaround strategy for them?
So see, New Shop has been profitable over the last 6 quarters, and we as founders are very focused on bottom line heavy approach. So anything that we do is very thoughtfully done, knowing that this bottom line should only increase, not decrease, right? So this is how it's integrated into our strategy. Now, as far as the previous owners were concerned, each and every store of 24/7 is actually profitable. Yes, it wasn't profitable at a company level because unlike a startup, which like how we operate the company, we're a very lean organization. So we don't have very high overhead costs, which a public company would have, right? So our cost structures are very lean, our operating methods are very lean, but above that, we're on a franchise first model and they were on a company-owned, company-operated model. So they were, they had to employ and adhere to a lot of rules and regulations to operate the stores at a company level, which mounted to even higher costs at the head office level. For us, we've already franchised those out. So we're a completely asset-light company. We don't operate these stores ourselves. So these have already been, franchised out. And one thing I can assure you, there was a reason, all the Kirana operators and all these mom and pop stores were so profitable for the longest period of time in India. And that's because, the guy sitting at the store is an entrepreneur running the store versus, my store manager running the store. So as soon as you put an entrepreneur and his family members or her family members operating the store, the bottom line approach is so much more, powerful than a store manager running that store. So our strategy here is simple. We get entrepreneurs to run the store versus we sitting in an air-conditioned office, in our head office, thinking that we know better than them. So that's the strategy. It's always going to be our strategy that the entrepreneur is running the store, not a store manager.
Just to get a few things clear here, one, what was the funding, what was the financing details, or how much did you pay for acquisition of 24/7 stores? That's one. Two, you talk about an asset-light model, which means what? That when you actually acquire a store or when you have a store, you rope in a franchisee who could be a mom and pop store looking to sort of upgrade, or could be a completely new entrepreneur looking to set up shop. Is that how it works? And the third question is, the expenses that you incur would be on what in that case? When you look at the profitability metrics, the cost would belong to the entrepreneur then, and then they pay you certain amount every month. Is that the kind of, at the back end, is that the kind of agreement that works out?
Sure. So how it works is, we look at entrepreneurs. Now, when I call entrepreneurs, the people who we target first or people who are the most, excited to run the new shop store is a young aspiring entrepreneur. So most of our franchise owners are in the age bracket of 18 to 30 years. So, we feel pride in empowering the youth economy of our country. And, most of these people are either just people who, are young people and want to become business owners. Most of them would be skilled or unskilled. And not everybody is fit for the white corporate job. But everybody is looking at, rising in their social currency. So, running a traditional mom and pop store versus funky new shop store, which is like the coolest store in town, and it's like the place for all the young people to go and hang out. This is what they resonate more with, and this is a business that is in times with the future and what the modern India demands. So these are the two kind of people. It's either young aspiring entrepreneur who does not want to join a white corporate, white collar job, or the next generation of business owners of like a pan wala, mithai wala, kirana wala, printing shop wala, who do not sort of resonate with running their moms or pop store and want to do a cool business. And these are the guys who are looking at getting a franchise. It's very youth-centric business model, and very recently we are as a woman entrepreneur, I am able to juggle multiple jobs, both and sort of take care of both my personal and professional life because I'm an entrepreneur and I have full control over when I want to work and where I want to work. And that's why very close to me, we very recently partnered with Niti Aayog and launched a program to empower more women to become retail owners, and that's powered by New Shop. So I think these are like the big targets that we're looking at, and people where we're looking at creating the most impact. How this works is once the franchise owner buys our business, buys a retail store, we empower them with every single thing, what is required to run the store, right?
So they buy the store from you?
Yes, they buy the store from us. Okay. And even the ones who are going to be taking the franchise of the newly rebranded 24/7 stores to New Shop stores are also investing in that retail store. So they invest in the capex, capital expenditure, they invest in the inventory, they invest in everything. But how to run the store is an expertise that we bring to them, both in terms of technology and in terms of partnerships, licenses. So you literally can just come to me. I want to become a retail owner, and I will figure out everything for you, and I will ensure that your store is up and running in 30 days. So one of the few things that you'll realize why we are a profit-making machine versus the companies who are in the region and could not sort of make profit is we worked on various innovations. So our cost of construction of the store has been brought down by 70%, which our other companies could not do. So for the same 600 to 1,000 square foot store, we're able to build the store in less than 15 days. What we've done is we have a foldable modular store design, which is prefabricated and actually built in about 7 to 10 days. We transport it to the location. Everything, even if the shelves you see, every single thing you see can actually be folded in a 40-foot container and moved from one location to another for as little as like 10,000 rupees, all over the India. And because of that, you've brought down your cost of construction. You brought down your time of construction, and hence, when they say the gestation period for a retail store could be like up to 5 years, we're able to get profitable, operationally profitable in the first 3 months. 45 days is your rent-free period. Now, if your store is up and running in 20 days, those 25 days is like your bonus, right? So all the earnings that you make is actually preponed. Second, the store is being run by the entrepreneur themselves. So the salary, cost structures, etc. are thrown out of the window because it's the entrepreneur running the store themselves. And the third is our unique product and service assortment. Like, you'll be very surprised to know the gross margin that our franchise owners make is about a 30%, which is the highest ever heard of in any kind of grocery retail format. And all of these reasons contribute to them getting a payback period in about 18 to 24 months. So that's how we've been able to make it work. Now, how these franchise owners pay us is a monthly royalty for everything that we contribute, and then there's also the entire thing is built on our tech. So the POS is the cheapest in, I would say, the world. Our POS is just 10,000 rupees. So all of that is what comes as the New Shop infrastructure to them. And yeah, there's a royalty that they pay us.
And did you, when you actually acquired these stores, what are the details of the financial transaction that went behind it? Because I think they also were carrying a negative net worth at that point of time. I mean, how much did you pay? I mean, to put it very simply.
24/7 is a brand, but it's owned, the company is actually Godfrey Phillips, which is a public company. And the details of this will be co-shared by us when the time is right.
Okay. Tell us about your overall growth and expansion plans now that, let's just call them the New Shop stores rather than talking about erstwhile 24/7 stores. And because ultimately they are being rebranded.
There'll be a lot more retail companies that we'll acquire, right, for growth. So
right.
End of the day, it's New Shop.
That's right. So it is New Shop. What are the growth and expansion plans for New Shop in the coming 2 to 3 years? And where will the growth come from? What is the headroom for growth for you? Which are the big drivers for you? Is it going to be a non-top metro, tier 2, tier 3 cities? And what kind of turnover would you be targeting for the New Shop in the next 2 to 3 years?
So the growth levers primarily for us are coming from tier 2, tier 3, tier 4 cities. I mean, we are there in metros as well. But for instance, in Jaipur, we have about 12 stores, and New Shop is the only modern trade store there. So you can always see all the cool young population of Jaipur hanging out at New Shop. And we increased from 1 to 12 stores in just a matter of 6 months without any marketing, without any publicity, right? It's just word of mouth. Oh, did you go to this coolest store which is open 24 hours? And, everybody just wanted the new shop franchise. So, yeah, growth levers are tier 2, tier 3, tier 4 cities. Apart from that, India is going through a massive infrastructural boom. So, in fact, we are very proud to say we are participating and contributing to that growth and development infrastructure by being that store in, on a highway at a gas station where people are truly finding conveniences. We are that store in, the levers that we're looking at is railway stations, airports, highways, gas stations, more educational institutions coming up, more corporate parks coming up. So, neighborhoods is one part of a business growth expansion, but so many growth levers coming from transit retail and our growth in 2, 3, 4 cities.
What kind of turnover would you be targeting, and what kind of growth numbers would you be targeting in the next 2 to 3 years?
So, we are doubling our store count this financial year, and our true vision is to empower 10,000 entrepreneurs by 2030. So, we're on that path and journey. In the next 2, 3 years, we're looking at about 2,000 stores in more cities. Looking at least about a 100-city expansion plan, and empowering entrepreneurs is what is in our DNA. As far as the turnover is concerned, you would understand the sensitivity of such a question. So,
okay. So 2,000 stores is the target for the next 2 years. Where are you at right now with all of the acquisitions that you have done and your organic setup?
Yeah, so we'll be at about a 450-500 store count by this financial year end.
Okay, yeah. So 450-500 would grow to 2,000 is what you were saying.
Yes.
Okay. What about the funding plans? Are you going to look at raising more funds and more capital? Because although it is a franchising model, but there would be certain costs that you would also incur. Also, there's this recent trend of companies, rushing to stock market for listing. Are you looking, how far is an IPO for you? How far is a listing for you?
See, we're in the business of value creation and building a business which is driving the entire, retail ecosystem and nation building. So, it's actually the very obvious thing for us to say is that, with all the impact that we've created, IPO will be something that we will be very excited about. We don't know when. When we think, we've created enough value for people to draw even more value out of, we want to create a lot more millionaires, not just through, our franchise model, but also through investing in new shop opportunity. So, yes, IPO, it will be someday. That's our wish. Before that, we've been, like I mentioned, profitable for the last 6 quarters. And that gives us the flexibility to choose who we want to take funding from and who we don't want to. So, as a startup founder, I can promise you we're always looking at the right kind of strategic partners and investors who understand our business model and can contribute and think just like us.
How far is the next round of funding? And, realistically speaking, with all of these plans in place and more acquisitions like you indicated, what kind of funding requirement would you have?
So, you'll be very happy to know our last round of funding was actually a secondary funding round where we gave exit to all our early stage investors at, a very, very good multiple. So, like I mentioned, it's not always fusion into the company that we're looking for. We're always looking for the right set of strategic investors and business partners who can help grow our company. Now, if we stumble upon somebody extraordinary or some fund that's extraordinary, and we really think they're worth it and they really love us, we'll do a secondary round, right? It may not just always be a primary investment round. But yes, our last round had a lot of Korean funds participating, and
that is Redwood.
Yes, Redwood and some other folks. And this is happening because Korea is the most penetrated convenience retail market in the world. And they went through a very similar revolution like us, where they had a large population of traditional mom and pop kirana stores, where the next generation lost interest in doing the business and they wanted something new and cool to operate. And then suddenly, like 10 years ago, a lot of chains like CU, GS25 and all, EMart24 came up, and then they consolidated and organized this long pending traditional market and empowered so many new franchise owners and created so many more millionaires. So yeah, that's why they understand us, we understand them, and it's a partnership made in heaven. And
are you looking at a capital raise this year, this calendar year?
Always, we are always looking at the right investor to help grow and bring some knowledge into the business, which their country has seen already.
But if the funding is secondary in nature, none of that money would actually come into the new shop for expansion.
I said when
No,
I
I'm
find
just asking. I'm just trying to clarify. If you go for a primary, obviously, new funds, new VC funds would come in, new investors would come in. But for a secondary one, it would provide an exit to your, current investors. But it won't bring the money into the company.
Correct.
What is it that you're looking at when you say that, you are talking to, or you are, looking for funding? One, is it likely this year? And two, what is the nature of the kind of investors or the investments that you're looking at?
So we're looking at the right set of investment partners who understand convenience retail and retail space broadly, right? And obviously, understanding of franchising business is very important. So as you would know, India the franchising economy is not really well understood or has not been picked up. So we are actually, I think, the largest franchise retail company in India already. So bringing that expertise, like how do we grow, grow our franchise network?
How do you scale up?
Scaling up is still not a challenge, but how do you keep the franchise owner motivated? For instance, Redwood has seen 20 years later what happened to GS25 stores. Like, where are the franchise owners now, and what is it that they need? Now, that's the level of expertise that they bring to us. That today, great, India is at this level, and you're going to grow. But 10 years later, these are the issues that we faced in our country. And if you look at it today, you can address them and build them into your business model today itself. So, more evolved investors and strategic partners who understand what we are building and are able to contribute to growth and development where we are today, and continue to be our partners in this journey, hopefully not just till IPO but even beyond. And why just scale in India? We have global ambitions. The last time a big franchise chain was built was McDonald's. Since we are the biggest country in the world, I mean, I think it's very it won't be wishful thinking if I say that we want to take a made in India brand and franchise it to the world. So that really would be my true vision, to become a brand even bigger than McDonald's in the world. But that's where the challenge and the opportunity comes, that you partner with the right set of people who have that, who resonate with your vision. So to answer, we will always be looking for right set of investors, both in terms of primary and secondary fusion. It's about where you are in your company and at what stage. And as founders, how much equity do you want to dilute? How much value have you created for your existing shareholders? And what value does your new investor bring to the table? So always fundraising, right?
Are you hopeful of a closure of
Yes,
funding
absolutely.
round this year?
Absolutely.
Okay. Is there a number that you can give us on how much you're looking to raise?
No number yet, but I can tell you where we'll be spending the money.
You can tell me. Yes. Is it about expansion of the store network per se?
Yes. So there are multiple things that we're looking at. First of all, we've just very recently integrating generative AI into our franchise dashboard. So, we have an entire tech stack built to empower the franchise owner to conduct their business operations to their best possible, outcome. So now what we are thinking of is that, right now they have to download tables, they have to analyze it, and our team has to sit and analyze, although there is predictive forecasting, etc. But, a human is a human end of the day. So how do we save their time? So is it possible that we can create something where they can just chat with the system and, have like this human interface and say, can I how do I increase my sale next month? And what can I do to have, what did I do wrong that my sale in this week went down? So this kind of investment, and it'll be like, the most breathtaking technology ever built in the franchising ecosystem in the world. And this kind of technology would take substantial capital investment. So, of course, a substantial part of fundraise would go into that. The second thing, since we are a category creator in India, if you've ever visited, maybe even Thailand and visited the convenience stores there, you'd see that the product assortment in a convenience store is very different from that of a grocery store. But in India, every retail store that sells FMCG products is loosely called a grocery store, which is not true. So, for instance, convenience stores, about 70% of sales comes from fresh food and beverages. There literally aren't enough brands that I can tell you who are devising products for C-stores, right? Now, they always have small packagings. We don't have that here. It's always on the go kind of a product. Nobody went to a convenience store to buy 5 kgs of atta or a big bottle of shampoo, right? It's always on the go consumption, which is consumed within the first 1 hour of purchase. Look at transit retail. You're not allowed to carry anything more than a 100 ml bottle in a flight. And most of the people in international economies where convenience retail is very prevalent would just buy something off the airport or off the railway station and just take it for their journey. But these packagings are not currently existing in India, right? Fresh food and beverages contribute to such a huge part. In fact, in US, convenience stores are doubling up as QSRs, right? That's where people go and shop. But there is really nothing that's happening in India. Like in Japan, there is self-food heating particle technology where, you just peel your rice cakes off and, your food is heated and on the go. So a lot of that requires a lot of R&D, research to go into, and that is one big area where we'll be investing in and creating more private labels. Nobody's building for us, we'll build ourselves. So yeah, those are two substantial areas of growth and development, and we'll be opening a lot more company-operated stores, especially in areas of high security like railway stations and airports.
Do you have stores in the airports right now?
We used to have, but we're right now in the process of renegotiating our contracts, so you'll see those up and running again.
And how far are you from an overseas expansion?
Not as far as you would think it is. We already are in the middle of a lot of conversations.
Would that happen this year?
Hopefully.
Okay, and what is it that you have in mind when you say that, you talked about your overseas ambitions, in what form and shape would we see them?
So, there's a surprising fact that most people don't know. 80-85% of convenience stores in US are run by Indians. And there's a special program called EB-5 visa program which US has, where countries, mostly like Asian countries, people get that visa on the basis of a certain franchise of a convenience store and migrate to US. It hurts us, right? There's so much brain drain and draining of good people that we're seeing because our own country is not giving us opportunities. So never mind if those people have already migrated. The least I can do is give them the opportunity and option to choose a new shop over various other franchise models that are available in that country. So those are the work lines on which we are working. There are, Indians are like the highest population for migration. And they're all looking at great businesses to start when they move, right? And especially that's more prevalent in certain communities like the Gujarati communities, etc. If we can create a business model, a franchise model, which they could take very easily, I'm sure they would prefer selling paneer tikka sandwich with a new shop franchise than a beef burger Subway in their store. So yeah, that's what we're thinking.
And
about.
which are the markets that would be first off?
All the markets which have a very high population of immigrant Indians. The easiest would be South Asia. So that's what the first market will be.
And you're hopeful that you'll be able to tie up something
Absolutely,
this year?
this year.
Okay. And this would again be under the new shop,
Yes.
Branding?
Yes.
Okay. Let's talk about the competition from e-commerce, but also more importantly and interestingly from quick commerce. How do you look at, competitive intensity from these players like Zepto and Blinkit?
Honestly, I don't think we're at that stage in India to think about competition. Whether it's Blinkit or it's any kind of format, India is going to be a $2 trillion retail market from a $700 billion market today. Everybody has such a huge opportunity and room for growth that we shouldn't even waste our time thinking of cannibalization and competition. We should just concentrate on building our businesses and looking at how we can continue to serve the customers. Anyway, even in that $2 trillion market, e-commerce, quick commerce, and the entire sector is just going to have a 4 to 5% contribution. So we're still talking about that 95% contribution of offline retail. And we need to have more players who sort of look at building that part of modern trade in India because it has so much more impact. E-commerce, quick commerce are solving for that need of I'm sitting at home, I'm a busy person and I want things delivered to my house. But what about community building? What about empowering small, medium businesses? What about creating experiences, places of hangout for where communities could come together and be human beings, right? Interact. So where is that social interaction? Who is solving for that, right? Who is solving for upgrading infrastructure development? That's where we come into play. So, there may be some overlap in certain urban markets, but we're all solving different use cases. In fact, the product and the services that we offer is about 80 to 90% different from what e-commerce or quick commerce companies sort of offer. They're solving the needs for grocery, we are solving the needs for round the clock quick access and a great place for communities to hang out and empowering entrepreneurship.
So you see a big headroom for growth there.
Absolutely, it's an easy $50 to $70 billion market. We're pioneers here. I think there's a scope for growth even in convenience retail. There'll be a lot more players that'll come up in the convenience retail market. We just have got a substantial headroom for being, the pioneers, and a huge time for us to continue growing fast.
What about acquisitions? You indicated that it would be an area of interest for you.
Yes.
How are you looking at inorganic strategy?
So acquisitions is obviously the fastest way to grow. Like I mentioned, we already have a huge backlog of waitlisted franchise owners. So what really stops us and them from becoming a new shop owner is a existing location with a good footfall and traction. So that's where we're looking at getting a lot more regional chains. Like 24/7 is a regional chain. We all know about it because we've lived in Delhi, but speak to somebody outside of Delhi, they know New Shop, but they won't know what 24/7 is all about, right? Likewise, there are a lot of regional chains that have like sort of market superiority in that region, but are not able to grow beyond that. But are popular, there they have customers, regular footfall. So we're looking at getting more regional chains, acquiring them, and that's our strategy for inorganic growth.
And for overseas expansion, would acquisition be a way?
Acquisition as well as master franchising rights to people who understand retail businesses there.
So you are saying that you are looking at more acquisitions, and how close are you in terms of negotiating those? Are you hopeful of something in the current financial year or on the next financial year?
Oh, I'm a retailer and I also love shopping. So at any point of time, I'm speaking to many other retailers and gauging their interest in sort of merging with us.
Are there things on the table right now?
Absolutely, all the time.
And part of the fundraise, would that go into acquisitions as well?
Part of it, yes, and part of it into, like I mentioned.
All of the things that you talked about, technology,
Absolutely.
for instance,
Yes,
AI
yes,
interface.
Yes.
Okay. Aastha Almast, it was wonderful speaking to you. Many thanks for speaking to me.
Thank you so much. Likewise, I enjoyed this conversation a lot.